So folks, welcome back to the channel. Right now I am on SNY, and the article that I'm going to be reading to you guys today is Mets manager search. Brad Ausmus reportedly interviewed. Mets reached out to Astros for Joe Espada. And basically, the Mets are hitting the ground running in this CBA lockout, and they've started interviewing people for the next Mets manager. And I couldn't be more excited because honestly, Luis Rojas was bad. I just didn't like him very much. And now they're going out and getting other guys. So I'm going to read you guys a couple of these little articles, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. So December 6th, 7:45 p.m., Brad Ausmus interviewed for the Mets managerial job, according to John Heyman. SNY insider Andy Martino reported that Ausmus was a candidate and would be interviewing. Buster Olney of ESPN also reports that the Mets have asked the Houston Astros for permission to interview bench coach Joe Espada, another confirmed candidate to Martino. So basically what that is saying is that the Mets have started interviews with Brad Ausmus, and they're going after Joe Espada, and there's even more. Let me just read you this next one because there's more candidates. December 6th, 11:40 a.m., the Mets have formally requested permission from the Tampa Bay Rays to speak with bench coach Matt Quatraro for their vacant manager role, per ESPN's Buster Olney. Quatraro was among the candidates SNY's Andy Martino mentioned could be interviewing during this work stoppage. Quatraro has been a Ray for most of his baseball life, getting drafted by them in the 1996 draft, though he didn't make it to the majors. Once he retired, he immediately began coaching and worked his way through the ranks of the Rays minor league system before joining the Cleveland Indians as assistant hitting coach in 2014. The Rays would get him back as third base coach in 2017 before assuming his current role the year after. So basically, now Matt Quatraro is added to that list, and so now we have a definite on 3 of them, and I'm going to keep reading you guys because there's even more. December 3rd, 11:16 p.m., according to SNY MLB insider Andy Martino, Curtis Granderson was discussed internally by the Mets as a managerial candidate because he is highly respected, but he is not expected to interview. Even though it says he's not expected to interview, Curtis Granderson is still, I think he's a great option because Curtis Granderson, he was a Mets outfielder for a little bit, but he was a very good player. He was respected by a lot of people, and I think he would be a great manager because the players would respect him, and he has knowledge of the organization. Yeah, so that's about all I'm going to read from here, but I'm going to go over to MLB.com. I'm going to show you guys something from there. So we're going to go there right now. Alright guys, so I'm over on MLB.com, and I'm on an article by Anthony DiComo, great writer. Mets set to interview for in manager source. So I'm going to read you guys a little bit of this, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it and opinions, and we're just going to talk through it a little bit. So, New York, Brad Ausmus, Joe Espada, Matt Quatraro, and Buck Showalter are all expected to receive interviews for the Mets' open managerial job, according to multiple sources familiar with the situation. The club did not confirm the news. While the exact schedule of first-round interviews is unclear, all 4 among what is almost certainly a larger list of candidates should speak with the Mets officials in the coming days. The Mets have a chance to go quickly through their process, given the fact that Major League Baseball's lockout prevents them from negotiating with free agents. As such, the managerial hiring is now atop their agenda. Ausmus became an obvious candidate as soon as the Mets named Billy Epler their new general manager. It was Epler who hired Ausmus as Angels manager before the 2019 season, and although that arrangement lasted only 1 year, that was mostly because Angels owner Artie Moreno reportedly wanted to hire Joe Maddon because he became available. It's also worth noting that Ausmus is a Dartmouth College alumnus, just like Mets president Sandy Alderson and his son, assistant GM Brian Alderson. And Ausmus spent 1 year managing new Mets pitcher Max Scherzer with Detroit in 2014, providing a common thread between those two and Epler. So, obviously, Brad Ausmus has a lot in common with this Mets team so far, and he might be the front runner. But hold on, there's 3 more things here about 3 different guys. So I'm going to read you guys those, and then I'm going to say who I think should be the Mets manager based on what these say. Espada has been a ubiquitous managerial candidate in recent years, interviewing for the Angels job that went to Ausmus, the Rangers job that went to Chris Woodford, and the Giants job that went to Gabe Kapler, and the Cubs job that went to David Ross. With more than a decade's worth of experience in the big league dugouts, Espada understands the role's responsibility well despite never having served in it. He does have some brief experience managing the Puerto Rican Winter League, and he twice served as third base coach for Team Puerto Rico in the World Baseball Classic. Okay, so obviously Joe Espada hasn't had any MLB manager experience, but I feel like he still has the experience, so he could be a good pick for it. But we're going to go ahead and get into Quintaro. Okay. So Quintaro, 48, has been the Rays bench coach for 3 seasons after prior stops in Cleveland and in the minor leagues. He interviewed for the Giants job that went to Kapler and was a finalist for the Pirates job that went to Derek Shelton. He also reportedly spoke with the Tigers before they elected to hire manager A.J. Hinch. So, obviously, he is a very good pick that you could have. He actually kind of emerged for me yesterday. I didn't see him coming as a finalist for this job, but I think he could be a great finalist for it. And we're gonna get into Buck Showalter. Showalter is by far the most experienced of the known candidates, and he also boasts an Epler connection. When the Angels were looking to replace Ausmus prior to the 2019 season, Epler reportedly recommended Showalter to Marino. He's adept with the media and understands New York as well as anyone, having managed in the Bronx for 4 seasons, but concerns do exist. In his last stop in Baltimore, Showalter produced just 4 winning years and 8 full seasons on the job. His last winning record came back in 2016 when he absorbed significant criticism for not using all-star closer Zach Britton in the wildcard game that the Orioles lost. The old-school Showalter would have to be willing to accept the front office influence that permeates nearly every dugout in baseball. The Mets have been searching for a manager since dismissing Luis Rojas in October, but they first chose to hire a GM and wade through the opening act of free agency before continuing their search in earnest. So, obviously, Buck Showalter is a very good candidate. He has the most experience out of these 4, and honestly, I think he would be the best pick. Even though he's old school, he has so much experience. He knows what it takes to be a manager. And no offense, but he's not dealing with a Orioles team, with the Orioles. He's dealing with the Mets, these new Mets who have Starling Marte, Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Eduardo Escobar, Jeff McNeil even, Mark Canha, James McCann. They have all these great players, and even though I think the Mets did not perform as well as they should as last year, I think Buck Showalter is the best option for this team, and because he has the experience, he has the fight, he's been to the playoffs before, even though it was brief, and he knows what it takes to be a manager. And if the Mets hire him, I think they're in a definite great position. Same with any of these other guys. They're obviously all very capable of being a manager. And this is where I'm going to end it here. I'm signing off for now, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.